Thank you for joining us on this important news update. Hi, this is Tom McGill with Jerry Powers. We're both members of CORE, which is a local group of citizens for open and responsible Edgewood. We have some news today. It's sort of breaking news, and it's a little background. And Jerry, what do we have to tell these folks? What's happening? What's breaking?
Well, today's October 17th, and we have some really big breaking news. I want to give a little catch up on where we were after the special election till now. Of course, the special election was a huge success. It was a tremendous landslide, and people voted mostly to stop corruption for that change in government. And of course, we also filed a lawsuit, which was to stop corruption. We asked the judge to remove the mayor because we know the underlying facts about the several fraudulent acts that were perpetrated by John Bassett by taking town funds and building a sewer onto his private property.
Right, and so this lawsuit was on behalf of the community, on behalf of the citizens of the community.
Right.
It's called a quo warranto, which means show cause why you should be in this position.
Right, and you and I and Howard Calkins filed this suit on behalf of the town. We're not asking for anything for ourselves. We are asking for the Bassett family to return that money that they used. John Bassett diverted the sewer onto his private property through the construction, and he also designed that sewer system so it would go to several other properties. So it's an illegal act for a public official under the Constitution of New Mexico to profit from any public funds. So we filed that lawsuit asking for them to give that money back and for the mayor to be removed because he's disqualified himself as a public official.
And it's not only illegal, but there are some ethical issues too, because he bypassed the normal safeguards, which is going by the council in this case that we elected to speak for us.
Right, and there were some other fraudulent maps that were prepared that diverted attention away from what was really going on so the other counselors would vote for it without understanding what it was that it was going on to his actual private property.
Well, that's pretty serious. What did the judge say?
Well, I'll read you part of the judgment. There was also nepotism when the mayor hired his cousin, didn't disclose to anybody that she was actually his cousin because it allows for undue influence over the planning and zoning board. If he appoints somebody that he knows, and then he has a kind of an undue influence over that person. So the judge said, defendant John Bassett is, defendant John Bassett willfully violated the nepotism ordinance, this is the town of Edgewood's ordinance, by appointing his first cousin to the town's planning and zoning commission. Defendant Bassett is deemed guilty of malfeasance in office for violating the town of Edgewood's nepotism ordinance. Defendant John Bassett is subject to dismissal, removal from office as mayor of the town for violating the nepotism ordinance, and is subject to punishment for misdemeanor criminal offense for violating the nepotism ordinance, including a fine not to exceed $500 or 90 days in jail or both. So that's just one aspect, the nepotism ordinance. With regard to the other counts, she gave us a summary judgment ruling that found that he violated the Constitution, that's the quo warranto portion you were talking about, and profited from public funds by misusing public funds.
By fraud.
By fraud.
And fraud against the taxpayer.
That's exactly right.
And those are her words, are they not?
That's right.
And the nepotism ordinance is a particularly rigorously well-written ordinance. It was written in 1999 when Edgewood became a town. It's bedrock, and it is not ambiguous.
I think they were wise to do that actually because in a small town you can get these clicks, power clicks, and families are particularly prone to that, the families that have been there for a long time, that they kind of want to exert undue influence over the town because they've been here a long time. I've heard that theme expressed around here, although in the United States of America every citizen has the same right and there shouldn't be this undue influence. So I think they were wise to put that into effect.
So what do we expect to see? People are actually asking us, what do we tell them?
Well, what should happen, and of course, the mayor has shown in the past that he tries to disregard even legal rulings. The town councilors had to go to a judge, and the judge had to order the mayor, and to hold the special election in August and follow the law. They've shown a complete lack of respect and disregard for the law. So I don't expect that behavior to change. I think he will resist this, but really it's clear in the law, and the judge has said he's disqualified from office. He's forfeited his office from the time that he misused public funds. From that point forward, he is forfeited his office.
We've also seen that he has no problem using town money to buy attorneys to fight the things that he's legally required to do. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
That's a very good question, because it's one thing, you should not profit from public funds, but you sure shouldn't use town funds, taxpayer funds, our funds, to defend yourself from a criminal act.
Against the town itself.
Right.
John Bassett has enjoyed support from other councilors along the way. What do we expect to see from that?
Well, he couldn't have gotten away with any of this. All this got swept under the rug with the cooperation of Councilor Hawley and Abrams. All of this happened on their watch under great protest from Councilor Jaramillo and Councilor Abraham. So what I guess I want them to know, and we'll make a point of this at the next council meeting, is that if they don't take the acts that are required by law, that's the definition of misfeasance, which malfeasance or misfeasance qualifies them for removal from office. So it's a serious matter if they don't take this seriously and do what the judge is saying, which is the mayor has already forfeited his office. John Abrams is the mayor pro tem. They've nominated him. He should step into those shoes, and they should operate the town government under the commission manager form of government, have it with the mayor having forfeited his office. That's what should happen.
One of the counts was specifically against the governing body.
Mm-hmm.
It was called, the judge issued what is called a writ of mandamus, requiring them to take action.
Right.
It's going to be very interesting now that the two counselors, Abrams and Hawley, realize that the activity that they are involved in is found to be illegal.
Right.
To see what their attitude is at this point.
Well, that would wake me up. The John Bassett did not even mount a defense in this case, which is, if I have a defense, I'm going to make sure that I show up in court and I defend myself. But these counselors have also showed complicity, and there's a word for when people get together and cooperate to facilitate criminal acts and sweep them under the rug, and it's conspiracy, and it's a crime of its own. So they should be listening. They should take this very seriously. I don't know that they will. We'll see, I guess. We'll be watching. I would encourage everybody to watch the next council meeting, whether that's a special meeting or the next regular council meeting, because that's where all of this should be brought to a head.
Well, this is a great time to be involved in government in our small town. We all have a way to contribute to make it the best it can possibly be for all of us, and it's a great honor to be able to be part of that, don't you think?
Yeah, and everybody has made their contributions. You've made a tremendous contribution in revealing a lot of this wrongdoing that was going on from day one, and then the other contributions you've made, but also the hundreds of citizens that have sent us money. They've carried signs, they've canvassed neighborhoods at times. It's been really heartening to see how much people really care. It's nice to live in a place where people care about their community. And we've said we're committed to these goals of open, honest, ethical government. And we're not there yet, but we keep making more and more strides. And I just want to thank everybody that turned out in the election. Whether you sent money, whether you volunteered times to carry a sign, or whether you watch these videos, stay informed, and then vote. That's a huge thing at whatever level you can participate. So it's been really great to see that happen.
And I'd like to thank the community for their support, and it's been really terrific. At several points, the opposition, the appointees, and the family members of John Bassett have made disparaging remarks about our community members, about their general level of intelligence and interest. And I would like to tell you right away that we have some very astute, very smart, and very committed people in this community, and not just a few.
Yeah, that's been one of the great things about working with this group is I've gotten to know far more people than I knew before, and really great people that are principle-based, committed to the open American democracy that we all expect and deserve. And I've met some people that I think would be terrific candidates for the commissioner positions that are going to
Well,
come
that's
up.
very important, Jerry. We do want, without regard to their beliefs outside, we want honest, open, people with integrity.
You know, that's another great thing that's happened here is we have all managed to focus on what it is that we have in common in terms of what can we agree on that we all want for the town of Edgewood. And there are a lot of things that have come out of that. Open, honest, ethical government, so that the government is a reflection of the will of the people, and the actions of government reflect what the people here want. So I think that's another really rewarding experience for me, is instead of, with all of the divisiveness that's been going on everywhere, we have managed to come together and figure out what is the common ground that we, can agree to and walk on.
And I hope everyone realizes what an extraordinary thing happened with this special election. An election that was, from the ground up, inspired by the public. It was against opposition from actually our own government.
Yes.
It was pulled off without a hitch, and it was an amazing showing. Triple the amount of people who have ever shown up for even a mayoral election.
And just a reminder where that came from. We had our first public forum, CORE did, at the Legacy Church in November, exposed all of this to the public, and people came out and debated it really in an open way, not like the town meetings that are very suppressed. But they were able to express themselves, and they said, what can we do to get this corruption to stop? Well, we said, we'll come back to you in a few months, and we'll figure it out. We came back in March of this year, and we talked about commission manager government. We talked about the lawsuit, removal from office, and they said, we want to do all that. So that's what we've been doing ever since. It's been a lot of work, but it's been very rewarding.
Yes, it very much has. And of course, there's probably a great deal of work ahead of us, and it's not going to be ended anytime soon.
Did you really think when you retired you'd be working this hard?
Never occurred to me. I've never done anything like this before.
Well, very good job for everything you've done, Tom, and I appreciate it. And I hope people will pay attention to the next council meeting. We'll be coming out with another podcast with a recap after that council meeting to put out the current information. So,
And watch for us. We have a website that is
EdgewoodCoreNM.com.
okay.
So you can go there. You can go to our Facebook page.
We have a Facebook page called Eye on Edgewood, which is more topical and daily, and you can actually see the judgments that came down yourself. They're available on that site.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting reading. It's a little boring if you read, but if you just get to the heart of it, what the judge found, it's pretty amazing, actually.
Right. So thank you very much, Jerry.
Thank you.